All right, today we're talking about audience contacts or contacts within your audience. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back into my audience and go to the contacts area. And this will be a list of all of your contacts that you have within this audience. So at the top, we have some basic information about contacts with various statuses. I just want to go over those quick so you understand what those are. So active, these are the people that you can actually send email to. This is what billing is based off of. So if you're able to email to them, then that will be included in your bill from us. Pending are people that have requested to opt in, but you are requiring a double opt-in process or that confirmation email to be sent. So they need to click on that confirmation link within the confirmation email to confirm their opt-in or their subscription. So they're going to stay in the pending until they confirm that. So if you send out a campaign, it will not send out to these pending people. It's only going to send out to the active people. Undeliverable. The undeliverable is actually really nice. I mean, it's not nice to have undeliverable contacts. However, how the people get into there is kind of nice and convenient. And what I mean by that is we have settings that allow you to control how many hard bounces or soft bounces are required. And once it meets that limit, then the system will automatically mark that person as undeliverable. So I went through a couple different terms that we haven't talked about before. So a hard bounce. Hard bounce is like a mailbox doesn't exist error. It's typically a permanent error that we receive from maybe it's Gmail or Hotmail or what have you. So the email address that you put in is not a valid email address with that system. Our system will automatically default to one hard bounce. So if you get one hard bounce for a contact, then we're going to mark them as undeliverable. Now you can go in and change that, but we do that for you. So this basically is our system helping you keep your email list as clean as possible. So you're never sending out to people that are going to cause errors, which will in turn lower your reputation. So we want to keep your reputation as high as possible. We want to always be able to say that we have a deliverability of 99.5 or 99.6% across all of our clients. And this is one of the ways that we do that is by keeping your list as clean as possible. So again, you control that, but once it meets that criteria, then it goes in. Now, I talked about hard bounce as a permanent, like a email doesn't exist. Soft bounce is like a mailbox is full error. So soft bounces are typically temporary, but in an abandoned email account, you're going to end up getting that mailbox is full several times. So we typically suggest a 1 in 3 mix. So 1 hard bounce or 3 soft bounces. So once they meet 1 hard bounce or 3 soft bounces, then they get marked as undeliverable. Now, the cool thing about our system is that let's say they're on 2 soft bounces. The last 2 emails you sent them, it's soft bounce. Now, the third campaign that you send out, it all of a sudden gets delivered. When that happens, their bounce count starts over again. So that means that their soft bounce will be 0 because we saw that there was an email delivered. So now it starts over, and then we'll see off of the campaigns that follow if that bounce count's going to go up. So we don't want people to go on the undeliverable. We want them to stay inactive. It's a win-win. We want you to keep as big of an active audience as possible because that's that many more people that are seeing your brand and the information you're providing. And honestly, from our side, that's what we bill off of. So we want to make sure that we have as many active as possible, but we were never going to compromise our deliverability for profits. So we're always going to make sure you get the best deliverability possible because we want you and your customers happy. And we also always want a win-win. We never ever want a win-lose. So we're always going to be shooting for that win-win relationship with you and us. So that's kind of how undeliverables work. Unsubscribed, pretty straightforward. It's just the people that unsubscribe. They no longer want to receive your email for any number of different reasons. Then we have the reported spam. These are the guys that reported your email as spam. Now, I will say that sometimes the people that reported you as spam don't even know they did it. There was a time where a certain email client out there, it was a web-based client, but there was a certain email client that put the delete and the report as spam button right next to each other. So people would unknowingly click the report as spam, not realizing that that's what they did. They were intending just to delete the email, but they hit the report as spam. So with all of these, I should take that back, but with some of these different statuses, you're able to change it in the system to flag that person, to take them out of one status and move them into another status. And there's a couple different ways you could do that. You can either, for like an unsubscribe, you can resubscribe them. You can also import an opt-in date that is greater than the opt-out date or the unsubscribe date in our system. So if you do one of those things, we'll opt them back in. The undeliverable, you can take people out of that undeliverable, or you can flag people as undeliverable. It's really up to you. Report as spam, you can't do that. That would be something that they do, and they would report you as spam. Now, the suppressed. Suppressed, we have suppression rules within the account. So if you go into the account, we'll again have another video for that, but you can go in and add suppression rules. So those rules are account-wide, and you can suppress people. You can suppress a specific email address. You can suppress a domain. You can also suppress people that have admin in their email address. So typically email addresses that are more of a group style or a position within a company and not necessarily a person, you may want to not send to those. So anyway, those different statuses make up your entire audience. Now within an audience, we go to this guy here. We will try to get their image from whatever system that we're able to find that image in. So we'll try to get that. But then you have the basic contact information. So you have their email address, and then you have the rank. So the rank is our system's way of basically classifying a user based on engagement. So if they are clicking and opening emails, their engagement is going to go up. If they are not, or they're maybe bounced or reported as spam, that engagement or that rank is going to go down. Now, if they clicked and opened a bunch, but then they kind of took a break for several months, well, then you will also see this engagement score go down as well. So the more engaged they are, the higher that rank is going to be. The less engaged, the lower the rank is going to be. And you're able to segment off of that so you can target people with either a high rank or a low rank to either reward people or maybe to re-engage them. So really you can use this to your benefit to kind of get those people reinvigorated with your brand. So now within a contact, you've got the standard information. There's the additional information. If you refer back to our data field video, you'll be able to see how we set up this member information area with other data fields as well. So then we get to the recent activity. This just gives you the recent activity for that particular contact. There hasn't been any activity for him. You can see what groups he's a part of. You can see more activity here by selecting a date range. You can put in notes about the contact. So if I want to add in a note and just say, maybe say this guy is not too active. So I can add in that note and hit add, and that note's going to get added to the system. And then anybody that logs into Tarvent will be able to see that note. My notes are always going to be on the right, and everybody else's notes are going to be on the left. But this is just a nice, easy way to kind of take some internal notes about this contact. Then you have conversation. So conversation is kind of one-to-one email, not through a campaign, not through a transactional email or a journey. This is just a one-to-one. You could send an email out to that person. They can reply, and although that conversation will show up in here. The other thing that conversations is used for is if you send out a campaign and they reply to that campaign email, if you have it turned on to track replies, then we'll show those replies in this conversation area as well. Goals and conversions, these are related to journeys, so please please watch the journey video to get a better understanding of what goals and conversions are. And then we have the details. The details just gives you some basic information about how this contact got added into the audience, whether it was through an import or through a form or what have you, if they are confirmed, if you're using the double opt-in or the confirm process. So it kind of gives you that information. It also gives you an API ID. If you are technical or you've got technical staff and you want to integrate with our solution, you can use our API. We'll have videos that talk about our API, but our API is actually what drives our entire application. So everything that I'm showing you in all of these videos, you can do 100% of what we do in our user interface or our UI or this application that you're seeing. You can do 100% of that through our API. So you have access to everything that our API has access to. So it's kind of cool. Lets you do a whole lot with it. So anyway, that is contacts. The other thing you could do, I kind of skipped over this, is you could do some advanced search. So this is kind of like segmentation. So you can, do filters. You can do basic filters with tags, but then you can also add in these advanced filters with different criteria, the criteria group. It's the exact same engine that powers our segmentation. And then within this, you can either save this. So you can do a search, but then you can save this search. I don't have any rules in here. So let's say if I do first name equals, and we'll say Jason. So then within here, I can go ahead and I can say I'm going to save this to a new search. I can save it to a new segment, or I can save this to a group, which again, segment is going to be a dynamic. It's going to always be updated every time you use it. Where a group, it's going to be that one-time ad, and then all those people are there. But the other thing I can do is just save it as a search. So then if I'm always searching for the same contacts all the time or the same criteria, save it as a saved search. It makes it so much easier for you to use the system. Other than that, I just clicked hide to hide that. Goes back to the more basic. And I have also some batch options. So within there, I have some batch options that I can do. So I can select people, start them on let me do that again. Oh my gosh. There are days where my mouse and my hand do not seem to work together. But anyway, so I can select multiple people, and then from there I can add them to a group, start them on a journey, exit them from a journey, unsubscribe, reactivate them. So if they were unsubscribed, I can subscribe them again, or I can delete them. So various things I can do with the batch actions as well. The only other thing that we didn't really go over, it's not really related to a contact, but this info just gives you that same API information that you can use about the audience. So with that, as usual, if you have any questions, reach out in any format that you can find us on. We're on social media. You can comment to this video, send us an email, give us a call, send us snail mail. You can do whatever you would like to get in touch with us, and we will make sure to answer all of your questions, whether they're related to this, related to strategy, or if you have some random question, you can see how smart we are or are not. Maybe we'll be able to answer that question. So anyway, reach out to us if you have any questions. Otherwise, this is Contacts, and have a great day.